So, Tilman, I was actually in Texas probably about 2 months ago, and I think you're dead right. It is wide open. People really don't wear face coverings or masks over there. But just because the cases are down now, are you worried about a surge coming up? You also have businesses, as you mentioned, in Florida, in Orlando. I know you have a restaurant in Galveston, Texas, I've been to myself. Both of them not traditional spring break locations, but people certainly go there to let loose during the spring break time. Are you worried that what we saw in Miami and other places is going to spread back around the country?
I'm sure that we're going to have more infections because of spring break. And yes, Galveston and the Houston area had a monstrous spring break. And when they compare numbers, we don't even look at 20 anymore. We compare everything back to 19. And we had one of the best spring breaks we've had. Our numbers in March are surprising to us in all 40 states that we do business in. Even in California and New York, where you don't have the business traveler, people are still going out in huge numbers now. And in Texas and Florida, they're just blowing numbers away. People are tired of being locked up. I think that even though a mask is not mandated in a lot of states, I know we ask our employees to wear them, and we still ask our customers to wear them. It's out of respect to the fellow human being. And why not? Why not, until you sit down, why not wear a mask? My company and my guest, I don't need a governor or a president to tell us we're going to do the right thing and ask them to do it ourselves.
Yeah, Tilman, it's Morgan. I mean, I think about the consumer confidence reading we got this morning that was so much stronger than anticipated. We keep hearing about pent-up demand from the consumer right now. How sustainable do you think that is as you do see people come back into your businesses versus how much of this is a temporary bump from stimulus payments?
Well, we don't know, but that is such a good question, because I'm telling you that the high-end restaurants, my hotels, the casinos are having record numbers right now. And you've also got to remember, and everybody knows this who's going out to dinner or staying at a hotel, we're struggling from an employee base. Because as what's happened is if you take your normal, and I'm just going to use an average of $250 a week unemployment, and you add $300 to it, the hourly employees don't want to come to work right now, a certain percentage of them. And the way our whole capitalism works, we operate and live off of our hourly employees. So you're even seeing bonuses being paid now. I have restaurants paying bonuses for hourly employees because there's definitely a shortage right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm listening to you talk, Tilman, and we keep hearing about how much slack there is still in the labor market, something like 10 million people still unemployed. I realize there's also something like 7 million job openings right now from companies. You take that, you factor in the fact that it didn't make it into this last stimulus bill, but it's still pretty much on the table, the fact that we will probably see some sort of federal minimum wage hike as well. It sounds like you think the labor market is a lot tighter than people realize.
It is. Remember, if people don't go and try to get jobs, they're still in the unemployment, and they're looking at the unemployment numbers, but people don't want to go to work. And what has happened naturally by the $300 that the government's doing is minimum wage is naturally getting up to where the government wants it because there's such a demand for hourly employees. We don't need the minimum wage raised by the government. It's naturally happening in all restaurants, hotels, casinos throughout the United States right now. And I'm talking about north, south, east, or west. It's naturally happening. There's a demand for employees and wages are going up. We don't need somebody to regulate us with minimum wage. I don't care if it happens or not, because most of our employees are all so far above minimum wage. So whatever happens, happens.
Well, Tim, I'm going to correct you on one thing. I don't think that people don't want to work. I think a lot of people lost their jobs they were working before. But I do want to touch on stimulus checks. It's something you just kind of briefly touched on. Has your business seen a boost from stimulus checks in the past? Do you expect another one? Data shows roughly about a third of it gets saved and the other 2/3 gets spent in some way, whether it's stocks or consumer goods. Do you see people spending that money to go back to restaurants and have those kind of experiences?
That is, you have hit it on the head. What has happened is when there was the first stimulus check, people were scared they might need it to live because they didn't know when they could get a job again. This time it is totally different. The stimulus checks are being 100% spent because Every hourly employee out there knows that there's so much demand for them out there. Okay, and so why not spend the money, have a good time, and that's why my sales and my casinos, my restaurants, my online is all booming right now, because the person spending it knows they can go get a job any day they want.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.